Attention! Go!
Nice squeeze on the start from both crews, and the race is off. The final of the Stonor Challenge Trophy. There we're looking at Leander on the left-hand side of your screen, on the Berkshire station. Brayshaw and Leyden going through their start phase.
They're going to try and use their extra power, a bit of extra weight that they have, the physiology, the 10-15 seconds on a 2K ergo extra that they have over this incredible world-class lightweight double that we have seen racing with the very best at the top of Tokyo.
Well, Imogen Grant, closest to us, the athlete who took up rowing when she went to a freshers' fair at Cambridge University and has never looked back since. The lightweight double, Kath, they were leading their Olympic final at 500 metres, the race won by Italy. And of course we know, watched previous races in this regatta, that the British finished fourth by that agonising 1/100th of a second, but they were leading at 500, so they've gone out quickly again in this race.
Well, this event at the Olympics is one of the tightest, one of the closest that you get in every single race. They won their semi-final, an incredible world best time. And yes, they knew they had to bring their best in the Olympic final, and it was, you know, literally cruise, blanket finish, classic stuff, 0.01 from a bronze medal, 0.5 from the gold medal. They know the consistency that's required to be in the hunt for medals in the lightweight doubles requires you every time to be absolutely on top of your game, and this is another example of that.
I think they've stopped moving, Craig and Grant. And Leander will be heartened by that. They may just be edging up. They had to come back against the Dutch yesterday, the Leander double, so they've got a really hard race in their legs. How much do you think that might affect them, Kath?
They've done a lot of training. There's no question about that. They, you know, it may well have helped them because, of course, they haven't been at the Olympics racing. So I think for them, it's about using that race yesterday as proof of they can fight the whole way down. So it's really, you know, how they use it mentally to their advantage. But, you know, certainly there's a lot of races in the legs of Emily and Imogen as well. But I don't think that's going to put any of these crews off now. I mean, Jess and Georgie have had such a disappointing year. Jess had COVID in December and never really got back into things quickly enough to get ready to test for Tokyo. And Georgie Brayshaw had an injury in the spring and again wasn't ready to test when the crews were being selected. So these athletes have had a frustrating year. And they want to be out here racing, showing that they should be part of the team in the future, along with Imogen and Emily.
I love that Team GB hat that Imogen Grant's wearing. That looks fantastic. And I gather that Imogen is off to med school on Monday.
Well, she already started Monday of this week.
Oh,
unbelievably started. She's had 2 days of lectures in her 5th year of medicine. She's an incredible athlete. She's been a huge part of the brilliant run of Cambridge boat races over recent years. She rowed in the lightweights. She was actually part of the first Blondie crew for Cambridge to win on the Tideway, making history there, stroking her crew. And also then again the next year, stroking the crew that was the first Cambridge victory on the Tideway. So she's been making history throughout her career there, and yeah, continues to make that juggle now of going back to become a doctor in the future.
Amazing story. There, the blades of the Leander double, and sat in the stroke seat, Georgie Brayshaw. We're just going to have a look at her now. 2018, she was in a coma for 9 days after she fell off a horse. She's really had to struggle with adversity. Her dream was to get to Tokyo. I guess now that's switched to Paris. And Jess Leyden behind her, whose mum, Sharon, at Hollingworth Lake Rowing Club, where Jess started to row, makes a right good feed. I've had one of her dinners up there at the club, and Sharon follows Jess, as you can imagine, everywhere. But Jess is crowdfunding a single, isn't she?
That's right. So yeah, her story started the Project Awesome at Hollingworth Lake, and she has been part of quad. She's won World Championship medals, but I think probably the greatest achievement was that she won the under-23s and the junior single scull. She knows how to move a single. She's the first British woman to win a global solo open weight rowing title at any level, and now her dream is to be in the single in Paris. She stated that. She has a crowdfunding project and a webpage where she's raising money to get a boat to do that. And part of getting ready for that, of course, is to be racing here, raising her standard. Both of these athletes making sure they're ready to kind of join the pathway to Paris that's, you know, starting here.
Well, looking down the course, there's a long way in this race to go, certainly for these slow-moving double sculls. Imogen Grant and Emily Craig have just a little bit of clear water lead over Brayshaw and Leyden. But Jess Leyden, you've probably noticed if you watched the race yesterday, she was those little looks over her shoulder, just keeping Georgie Brayshaw in touch with the distance between the crews. And Leander will believe that they can come through the lightweight double, particularly in this headwind condition, which you kind of think, you know, if you're going to have conditions for lightweights against heavyweights, and the British lightweight women had to weigh in at an average of 57 kilos in the Olympics, so that's substantially less than this Leander Club double of Brayshaw and Leyden. And in a headwind. What
a brilliant world-class race we're seeing here. I think Imogen Grant just feeling that they're in control, but it's certainly not comfortable, because the quality we have with Jess and Georgie is absolutely superb. I think it's going to be such a, going to be a tight race now, because they're going to want to ask some questions. This is where we're going to see what gears Jess and Georgie have coming into the finish. But I've been so impressed by the mentality of this squad, by Imogen Grant, how quickly she was able to put the 4th place in Tokyo into perspective, how quickly she was able to say, you know, you win or you learn. And for them, it was a brilliant learning project. She saw that result as part of a broader picture of what she's gone through and what she's achieved this year. She said that she's proud of managing lockdown, proud of PBing in her living room, proud of being selected for Tokyo and becoming an Olympian, dealing with the curveballs that have been thrown towards them, proud of the high standards they've had, proud of setting a world best time, and is hungry for more.
Yeah, quite something, and you could see that the lightweight double are just shutting the door to Leander. That clear water margin was just cancelled out a little bit, pushed by Leander, and then Grant and Craig just held it and moved away. And we were talking about the Olympic final, and you kind of always back Imogen Grant and Emily Craig in that sprint for the line, and they did just miss out. They were in 2nd place at 1,500 metres to go, and they couldn't quite pull out the last 500 metres.
It's so tough, isn't it? I see them as so consistent. You can see that coming into the line. Their technique, even under pressure, is there, and it was just such a tough ask for them. I know that race is just going to be the making of them, because they've come here with so much confidence. The fact that they're ready to race again, that they just see that as a step on the journey, as part of becoming the athletes that they are, enables them to now be adding some more trophies, I think, some more medals into. They will have something coming from this summer of racing.
So Grant and Craig win the Stonor Challenge Trophy from Brayshaw and Leyden, and yeah, Emily Craig celebrates her win, congratulates Imogen Grant. It was a super race from both doubles. Leyden and Brayshaw really conjured up a great race, perhaps a little bit too much after the efforts against the Dutch in yesterday's semi-final, but no taking away from the lightweights.